Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something that's very dear to my heart, at least.
And to my heart.
And to Ella's heart. Because it's something that we've both had to master based on our experience. It's about the English language. That's right. My second language, actually. And Ella's seventh or second language. Something like that. Anyway, this video is dedicated and meant for Romanians.
And Americans.
That's right. And Americans, of course. So we figured a lot of y'all want to improve your English, you know, change a few of those little small errors that could really take you to the next level, make it sound really good.
And have a few laughs while you're watching this.
Less or a few? We'll talk about that in a second. The first half of the video will be 6 mistakes that Romanians make when talking in English.
The second part of the video will be 6 mistakes that Americans make when they talk in English.
That way, when you're talking with your American friends, you can rub your chin whiskers at them and be like, you know. And it'll be a lot of fun, and it's all about learning and growing.
Let's start.
So, without further ado, the first common mistake that Romanians make when speaking in English starts with I. That's right, I. Always I. What do I mean? Confusing the E sound with I. So this letter is super funky, especially coming from Spanish, where the E is that symbol with the little thing at the top. But in English, it's kind of it's a little more caveman. So it can lead to very different changes. For example, this is a nose, I, whereas these are eyes. I hear this mixed up a lot. These and this.
I sometimes am guilty of this mistake.
Correct usage of the word. How many mistakes? Just one. So use Of course, if you're very perceptive, you notice that this and E thing happens a lot. For example, in the word live, like we live in Bucharest, or leave. Like
we cannot leave our house right now.
We live in this house, but we cannot leave this house. Big difference. Here's another one. I love to go to the beach on the weekend. And the other one?
Her friend is a bitch.
An easy way to remember this is which one makes you smile and which one makes you frown. For example, these eyes, or this cavity, or the beach, or the
bitch.
Now we're going to move to the next
mistake.
Move in. Oh, here's the mistake. In and to. Prepositions, my guy. So, let's say you are from Bucharest and now you want to live in another city in Romania, Iași. How do you describe this? Do you move in or do you move to Iași?
You move to Iași.
You move to Iași. That's right, y'all. To. I'm always hearing this in, and I think it has to do with the
Yeah, because in Romanian you move in a city, not to a city.
So stop moving in places. Moving in means you get all your boxes and you put them in a new house.
Install yourself in a place.
You're not moving in. You are moving to. And this mistake also applies to going. I hear a lot of going in. And going in is like that rap song. Link in the description. Going in. I am going in to English. I'm going into this topic. Where's my head? In.
Inside the topic.
In. But if you are going to, I'm going to Ella's house. I'm going to. T2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So remember, move 2 places. Next one. By the way, are you agree or do you agree?
I think I agree.
That's right. So mistake number 3 is to turn agree into an adjective. Like, I am happy. I am tall. I am agree. No, you are not agree. I agree.
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
For example, I eat. I sing. And I disagree. No, never. So remember to agree. Do you agree? If you agree, like the...
Smash the like button.
The 4th mistake that we hear is to forget the in teen. Now we all know teen, we know teenager, we know teen dramas. What are some good teen dramas out there? Degrassi.
Teen dramas. I'm too old for that shit.
Too old for that. She's too old. So she's not a teen.
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. So, if you want to say 60 because somebody owes you 60 lei, don't ask for 16 lei. Also, the inverse is true. If you owe somebody 60 lei,
don't give them 16 lei.
Big difference there. And it's as simple as remembering the Exactly. Yo, so moving on to mistake number 5. Did your mother called you yesterday?
No, my mom didn't call me yesterday. I called my mom.
Did you notice the difference? So, I have this theory that when we're learning a language, we build it word by word. And so we know to ask a question, did your mother, when was it? Yesterday. Called you?
No!
No. Think about how would the answer sound like? My mother did called me.
No.
That's no good. What's the problem here? Past plus past does not equal past. That's how you remember. Did and made, did and called. Did and
anything.
Just psh. So what's the correct sentence with the mother?
Did your mom call you yesterday?
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
Love you, Mom. Look, it might seem like an insignificant detail, and maybe it is, but we love insignificant details, and so does everybody ooze. And if that sounded good to you, then just ignore the rest of this video. All right, y'all. We're gonna end on 6. The 6th mistake that I always see in text messages, in emails, in newsletters, and all over this place. It starts with I and it ends with I. Capitalize the I. Oh my gosh. You know, I thought the first time I saw this, I was like, oh, that's hip, like lowercase I in a text message. That's what's up. Like, you know, you want to be, what's the word?
Hip?
You want to be hip, you want to be like subtle, what's like the opposite?
Rebel.
Rebel, but what's the opposite of like self-aggrandizing? Like, you want to be modest. You want to be modest and rebel and like, I'm going to do lowercase i's.
But
a lot of people do that. I don't know why. I thought it was cool when 1 or 2 people did it, but when everybody does it, then it's a systematic error that must be corrected. Please capitalize the I's, please, please. Be proud of yourselves. Stick up for your I. Believe in yourselves. I did have some extras, blooper take extras. Do, make, and take. I do make take. Do you make take?
I take, make, do.
Oh, that's funny. Yo, so these are very simple words, very like useful words. And so I think somewhere in some class, I mean, there's really why these are all extras, because there's no way to like explain them.
Yes, there is a way to explain them.
no
In
system.
Romanian,
Yeah.
you use the verb to do
You faci everything.
to express a lot of things that can be expressed with these three verbs. For example, do your homework. It's faci temele. Make a cake. Faci o prăjitură. Take a picture. Faci o poză.
That's right. So that's a
this is why sometimes in English they get mixed up, and yeah, you make a photo,
That's right.
you do a cake, and you don't take anything, because we usually use do or make to
Yeah.
express
So
a take.
what I meant to say is that there's no. We would have to give you like a grid chart and like plot all the differences, or you could Google it, I'm sure. But those are some very good ones, you know. So homework you do, the bed you make, and the photo
You take.
So, this is a great example, my baby. Here's another one for y'all Romanians. I think in Romanian you say umbra, and umbra is that thing that is being cast on the side of my face without the light. What do we call it in English?
Shadow.
It's the shadow, that's right. And when you hear shadow, I want you to think of Jungian forms and
What? What's Jungian form?
I want you to think of Plato's cave. Like the shadow is this deep philosophical concept that with psychological implications. Like the shadow is this thing that on the opposite of light. You know, the moon casts a shadow. You know, like ooh, shadow. So that's the creepy umbra.
But then
There's a non-creepy umbra. The one that's under a tree and that, you know, on a hot summer day is really nice.
vreau să stau la umbră.
That's right. And this one in English we call shade.
Not shadow.
That's
and
right.
I used to make this mistake all the time.
That's right.
I want to be in the shadow. I want to be in the shadow. And he was like, no, in the shade. In the shade.
Yeah, it's like if you want to be in the shadow, you want to explore the insides of your deepest, darkest secrets. That's not, I think on a hot summer day, that's not what you're looking for.
You're looking for shade.
That's right. So shade is this, you know, I got my hat, shade right here. Ah, super chill. In the shadow, ooh, umbra. Umbra mea. Okay, so I think, are we being fun or are we being funny? And don't say we're not being either of them. That's mean. But so when something makes you ha ha ha, it's funny. Funny. Like a clown is funny or not funny, but funny. Funny. Ha ha ha.
Also creepy.
And creepy. Creepy, funny. Okay? Fun, on the other hand, is distracție. Fun is a roller coaster. Fun is going out for cocktails with your buddies or your lady friends.
A thing of the past, actually, because it's not like you can actually do
That's
it right
right.
now.
So, would you rather be fun or would you rather be funny?
I think I would rather be both. Why not?
Ergo, the confusion, because they're both awesome, but subtle differences. If everything else fails, and if life like presents you with no opportunities to practice except this one, then you should do this one. And it's the difference between until and by. In Romanian, how many words do you have for that concept?
Până.
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 And everybody's până all the time. And if you put până in Google Translator, you get one variation. Which one do you get?
Until.
You get until. So everybody's until. Everybody's untilling all the time. What I'd like to say is until is very useful. It's a very nice word, very casual. A lot of pop songs are always saying until, till, okay? So it's nice, it's choice. But until expresses a duration. Are we still here? For example, I was cooking dinner until my mother showed up. Uh-oh, and you break that continuous action. But if you just want to pinpoint something, for example, I will be working on the project until 5 o'clock. That's right, working. But if you just want to demonstrate a fixed point with a fixed action, you use the other one, by. For example, I will finish by 5 o'clock. So, continuous or simple. This sounds so nerdy, but like, dude, this is the difference between here and here.
The most common type of error that I've encountered in Facebook group posts, comments, blogs, forums, you know, places where people hang out online, are homonym errors. And for example, there's my favorite one, there, and there.
This is the one that in a second grade class, it's written on the side of the wall. I didn't really talk that much in second grade, so I was looking at that poster a lot. So that's how I came to learn.
That's how you remember it?
But some people were busy chit-chatting. And by the way, I think this is where the mistake is, because it's a written mistake.
Yeah.
So people are hearing English.
People think it sounds well, but
yeah,
because it sounds kind of well, but it's written.
Should we explain a little bit about
Yes.
this one? So give us some examples.
So for example, their mom went shopping. There are a lot of flowers in the field. They are so tired after their English class.
That's
I
right.
used two of them in this sentence. It's and it's.
That's right.
Sounds the same, but has a different meaning depending on how you write it. It's raining outside. To say it is raining outside, but you gave up the I and you put an apostrophe instead of the I.
Yeah, and it's not really like you are just completely a trash in English if you forget the apostrophe. No, it's not that. It's about formalizing a little bit and just
not being sloppy.
It's about not being sloppy. And these are Americans making the mistake, by the way.
As opposed to, for example, my car is not in a very good shape. Its tires are a little bit deflated.
Its tires.
Yeah. Accept and accept.
Guilty.
Guilty?
Guilty of this one.
Oh my god.
They sound the same though. Accept.
But they're very different. And they mean very different things.
And are spelled differently, huh?
And are even spelled differently. For example, I cannot accept that person cheated on me.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Accept. Or,
as opposed to, everybody in this room is happy, except her.
except her. EX. Okay.
So,
True.
in the first case, we're talking about acceptance. And in this case, we're talking about exception.
Oh, that was sexy. Okay, nice.
Oh, another favorite. Affect and effect.
Oof.
This does not affect me. No, the correct way to say it is this does not affect me.
Affect. That's right. Affect. Affect. When something affects you, it's like it throws paint on you. It's like, oh, I'm so affected. You blue paint, red paint on you. But
the next big category is who versus whom. But I think you're the best person to explain this.
who and whom. So this is a mistake that natives make, and it has to do with just how unusual whom is. You can say here's your cheat. Just say who for everything, and you'll be a-okay. You could go to Harvard. I don't know if you can go. You can go to Harvard. Just say who all the time. Doctor who, and you'll be fine. The mistake is that sometimes we want to be a little more refined, a little more, classy, and so we sprinkle some whom here, whom you, whom me, whom I. Everybody's whom, but that's incorrect. So if you're gonna use whom, use it correctly. Like if you're gonna put on a tie, Google
Can
how
you
to...
tell us how you use whom correctly?
So the difference between who and whom is the difference between he and him. Remember the M, that's gonna help you out. So for example, you can say correctly, he kissed him.
Who kissed whom?
Exactly. He kissed him. Who kissed whom? That's right. So,
My next favorite category is filler words.
like totally.
Like totally and literally.
Guilty.
Very guilty. You know, filler words are those words that we use when you don't exactly know what to say.
Like
Like, you know, like...
totally.
Totally.
Whatever.
Whatever. And literally. I am literally so upset at you.
Literally?
Yeah, literally.
I'm figuratively okay with that. I love it when I'm writing literally and I literally mean what I mean. It's just like, oh, literally. So use literally when you literally need to, like totally always.
Another favorite. The if clause. You know, the if clause was one of the most confusing things we had to learn when we were learning English in like 3rd grade, 4th grade, something like that. But bottom line is, you don't use would after if, except when you want to say, if you would be so kind as to blah, 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 right?
A polite expression, a polite request is usually combining those two words.
But in normal life, you use past tense after if you have would in your main sentence. No, go, I have to say this again.
All right, y'all, so incorrect sentence. If I would have $100, I would buy a no.
Shirt.
No. And it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because in English, we have this very useful but interesting sounding polite request, which goes something like,
If you would be so kind as to give me $100, I will give it back tomorrow.
okay, so a polite request. If you would, you know, and so and I think we've taken this, we're so polite, we've taken this and just created sentences with it everywhere. But, as you studying second conditional remember, this is the correct one. If you had $100, what would you buy?
If I had $100, I would probably buy a new tripod.
Oh.
Because this one's kind of broken.
If you had 10 days to live, what would you do?
If I had 10 days to live, I would live them in peace, harmony, happiness with my baby, eating cake, watching Netflix or HBO Go or Amazon Prime movies, and looking back on life and concluding life was good.
Oh, my baby. Okay.
Good. My next favorite mistake is there is versus there are. And this is something I am also guilty of sometimes.
Guilty of this one.
Not because we don't know it, not because we don't know how to say it correctly, but because it's just easier and it comes to your mouth like easier. See, I said like.
Like all the oh my god.
I say like all the time. He says like all the time.
So what's
Anyway.
the common one?
There's a lot of people here. No. There are a lot of people here.
Are.
People
A-R-E.
are.
There are.
Because people are many.
That's right.
It's a multitude.
Can I venture a guess as to why even I make this mistake?
Yes, please.
Because we like to shorten everything. So it's easier to say there's 20 people outside. But if you try to shorten the correct form, there are 20 people outside.
Yeah, but who says there?
Nobody does, but it would be correct and incorrect at the same time. So I think we just phonetically want to make something sound correct as opposed to being correct. So we'll say, there's 2 laptops on the table. But if you slow it down for a second, you're like, oh yeah, there is 2 laptops on the table.
Sounds wrong.
Sounds
but
wrong.
in the moment, it just sounds short and sweet.
So just you use your fingers and your brain. Funny enough, my colleagues sent me a meme yesterday, and it had a man in the hospital bed, you know, about to pass away, and he tells his wife, I wish I had worked less days. And the wife standing over him is like, fewer. because you can't have less days.
You can only have fewer days.
Yeah, you can have fewer days.
Less. So the mistake is less versus fewer. The thing is, less means a smaller quantity of something that doesn't have singular, plural, you know? And fewer is a smaller quantity of something that can be counted.
That's right.
So you say less sugar, less salt, less
water,
less criminality in this country.
But days, you can count them.
You say fewer apples, fewer days, fewer nights, fewer people.
And so all of us want to make fewer mistakes in life.
And in English.
That's right.
Hopefully.
So, again, a silly one, but when you make that transition into the correct use, it feels good.
And now
for the bonus,
my absolute favorite mistake in the world.
I've seen Ella pull at her hair at this one.
I just don't get it. Why?
Celebrities say this.
Everyone says that.
What are they always doing?
Okay, so the mistake is to say could care less when you actually mean couldn't care less.
Yeah, so like somebody says, I could care less. They mean to say like, I don't care at all, I care zero. And when you care zero, you
couldn't care less.
Literally, totally, like you couldn't.
You couldn't care less.
You couldn't care less.
That's the way of saying.
But people say, what do people say?
I could care less.
So that means like
you can care less than what you actually care.
I could care less.
So you do care.
But I
when
care.
you actually want to say you don't care. You know?
Why does it happen?
Why does it happen? Why? Why?
You don't know? I thought I explained this before. It's because people swallow the NT.
Don't swallow the NT.
Instead of saying couldn't, because it's like too much of a spark. This is such a common expression that people try to shorten it, sharpen it. It's like a dull knife, you know? But if you want to sharpen it, give it that t. I couldn't care less.
Yes, please. This is a pledge for the correct use of I couldn't care less.
Wow, the sun is shining today.
I couldn't care less. I have so many things to do at my job that I probably won't even see the sun anyway.
So,
I couldn't care less.
Correct grammar, incorrect response. Super sad response, but we love it.
Just to see, just to showcase.
Time for the conclusion.
Time for the conclusion.
Let it be said, this video was not about it wasn't about poking or making fun of or any of that. It wasn't meant to be funny.
It was meant to be fun.
Exactly, and educational, and like, look, this is how, see it this way, like this is how people speak correctly, and if you want to join this group, you got to speak its passwords, its codes. It's like, this is like the proper way to use it, and the world will blossom up. It'll open up when you use the correct tense, the correct forms, and like
Like,
Totally, like,
literally.
and there's a lot of mistakes in this video, I'm sure, but it's not about that.
It's about always trying to improve and be better.
Yeah, by
And
making,
have fun in the process.
making less mistakes.
Fewer.
I know, I was making a bunch of errors.
Yeah.
So, if you like the video, leave a comment, yada yada,
Subscribe.
all that stuff. We hope you enjoyed it, and a lot of hoping and enjoying. And no, seriously, stay tuned for more international couple life
Content.
the language pool barrier, destroying barriers, crossing borders.
Figuratively, because physically you can.
We're all inside.
We're all inside.
Staying sane.
Within the borders of our front door.
Making love. Being happy. Working towards our dreams.
Subscribe. Bye.